Welcome back to the Stag World podcast. This episode, I'm joined by Laura Grant. Laura is based in Taupō and is a member of the New Zealand obstacle course racing team. She's recently been to the World Champs in Belgium. Check out the show notes and her details there for her Instagram, as well as some events that are going on around the country in the form of obstacle racing. We talk about the Ultimate Athlete and things like Spartan, Ninja Warrior. You've probably heard of that. So that's the vibe of obstacle racing. It's pretty cool, but it also includes adventure racing as well. So yeah, real sort of out-of-the-box type event. Life Less Ordinary is what this podcast is all about. It helps to improve people's lives, open their eyes, and see what they can do and live life to their full. So check out Laura's page. Make sure you're following her along. Share this to your socials. Tag us in it. That'd be much appreciated. And make sure you've subscribed to the podcast and hit those 5 stars to help share this out to more people. Help more people sort of listen and see and be intrigued by Life Less Ordinary. Right, let's get into this episode. I think it's 308 of the Stag World podcast with Laura Grant. Just sort of put that right in your face.
Right in my face.
Yeah. Have you ever done a podcast before, Laura?
No.
No? Yeah, so how this came about is Ricky Commons, I just did a giveaway for some Element. They sent me some of the sample packs and gave it away, and Ricky Commons actually won.
Oh, did he? Classic.
Yeah, so I've got to drop that off to him in Cambridge the other day, but he messaged me, I think just before you'd gone away overseas to the World Champs, and said, you should talk to Laura. And I was like, yeah, I know a little bit about obstacle. I've seen it. Yeah, like I said to you before, I've listened to Joe DeSena a couple of times, who runs Spartan.
Yep.
Yeah. And actually, when I was in Australia, a lot of the CrossFit gym, there was a couple of people there that sort of went to Torian Pro, and our coach qualified for Worlds and things like that. But the sort of other second tier were sort of looking for more group fitness stuff, and they were starting to get into obstacle courses.
Yeah.
There was Spartan, and there was something else that was going on in Australia for a little while.
Probably Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even that. I think Spartans ended up buying it. But I can't remember what this was. This was 2018, so a wee while ago. Yeah.
I wasn't really, I guess for me, I sort of fell into it maybe 2021.
Yeah.
So my first sort of taste of it was with sort of my coach, Greg Whitaker, at Empower Fitness. He ran a course down in Nelson, Wairoa Warrior, and then he moved up to Taupō, and he's obviously been training us, and me and my friend Meranea thought, we'll give this a crack.
Yeah.
So we flew down to Nelson and gave that a go, and I guess for me, what sort of ignited the passion stuff sort of was like, if you compete in these races, then you've got the, possibility of going to the Worlds. And that was back in, 21, and I just sort of thought, wow, that's amazing. And what an opportunity. Sort of thought, that's a pipe dream. It'll never happen. And then, what do you know, a few years later, got invited to go to Belgium and compete, with these amazing athletes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been incredible.
So when has it become world sort of competitively based? Because I was looking at that OCR, and there's like adventure racing, obstacle racing.
It's been going for years.
Pentathlon and stuff like that.
Yeah, I sort of don't know when it initially started, but it's been going for years. They just had the OCR World Champs in Mammoth as well. So that's apparently the original World Champs for obstacle course racing. Yeah. And that looked sort of next level, because there's a lot of I don't know if you follow that as well. No. The ORCWC is another one on Instagram, just to follow along. But they're racing at altitude, you know, they're high up in the mountains, so really hard to breathe, really challenging obstacles, you know, lots of different terrain. I mean, the obstacles, you sort of look at them like probably on TV or on your screen or whatever, and you're like, oh, that doesn't look too tough. But actually when you get there, you know, and you're gassed, you've done a lot of running prior to that, you hit, you know, it might just be jumping from one thing to the next, but there might be some height, or, you know, it might be high, it might be low, and you sort of look at it and you're like, oh shit, can I do that? But then you give it a go and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I think obstacle course racing, that's kind of what it's all about. It's like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
But then, you know, like putting yourself out there, giving it a go, and then, yeah, you actually can do it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, the diversity of it as well. Like, to see Nathan Fave on their page, I was like, what? So this is the same idea of like, what's impossible? How can you do it? How can you problem solve it?
Yeah,
be
exactly.
under pressure, like, you know, problem solving under pressure. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess with the Worlds, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know how that works, but you basically get 3 bands. And so you, those are your lifelines.
I just watched Willie Wairoa doing a little promo on the Ultimate Athlete page. And he like had to, like, got to an obstacle and he was like, what? And so he gave up the band, and then he did you get bands back? Can you?
Yeah, so basically you do the penalty loop at the end, but you have to have a band to go into that. So in the World, like, you get 3 bands.
Yeah.
And if you get to the penalty loop and you don't have any bands, then you basically are DQS.
Yeah.
So that is the most, like, heart-wrenching thing. Like, you're like, I just did a 15-kilometre race or 14-kilometre race with 50 obstacles.
Wow.
And I didn't get a finish time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's kind of, that was real tough. Like, that was pretty... There were a few tears.
Yeah.
But there were also a few hugs from the teammates, which was amazing. But, yeah, that's what the ultimate aim is, to, you know, keep the bands. But what they do is they sort of have surprise obstacles, which I don't know if you kind of saw at the Worlds, but there were these, like, 2 obstacles at the end that were really tough.
I saw your team effort where the 3 of you were trying to get over some wall.
The team wall, yeah. That was fun, eh? That took us 7 minutes.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, the team races, we actually ended up in the elite nationals team for that. Right. So we were sort of like, yikes. But we just had fun out there.
Yes.
Yeah, we were sort of like, the other women in this category are, like, next level. What
were some of their histories?
They just have a lot more races.
Okay, so they're just...
they're just competing regularly, like, in these races. And I guess that's sort of, you know, the challenge here is raising awareness for obstacle course racing, because it's really fun. Yeah. Like, I mean, I sort of started it because I was sort of like, you know, had my kids, and then I was like, I need to get back to the gym.
What was your sporting athletic background?
I've been a gymnast.
Yeah.
So I was quite a competitive gymnast when I was younger. And then I've always been an avid gym goer. So always, you know, before school, got up and gone to the gym, and before I had kids, always at the gym. But then, obviously after kids, you're sort of, you know, working out what you want to get into. And I always sort of thought, I'll get back into running marathons. But then I sort of stumbled on this obstacle course racing, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Like, marathons are boring. Like, for me. Yeah. I mean, because running is something that I constantly have to work at. Like, that is, you know, it's something that doesn't come, you know, naturally. So you have to kind of, you know, work at it. So obstacle course racing just gives you that ability to put in a whole heap of different training, and it's just real fun.
So you said 14k, like, and obviously that's not a repeating loop, that's one big...
No, that's one big loop.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was it included this, like, huge sandbag carry up a massive hill, like, and it was like kind of like just a massive sausage, like a big plastic kind of bag, real kind of awkward. It bends in like one point, so it's real kind of awkward to carry. I mean,
By yourself?
yeah. So some women were just able to run up the hill with it, and honestly, you're just like absolute machines, like these people. And then you actually go in water, like there's a bit of a swim across a pond. You know, you can wear a life jacket or, you know, buoyancy aid if you need to. But, you know, that wasn't really required for us. And lots of monkey bars, lots of grip sort of stuff. These quite fun things were called like the firefighter. So it's like these dangling PVC pipes with ropes, and the ropes move. So you sort of grab the rope and then it comes through the hole, and you're sort of like got your legs wrapped around, and the poles are different lengths. So I mean, I found that one quite fun. And then there's like tire hoists, so that's like 25 kilo, like it's filled with concrete, and you got to hoist that up.
It's attached to a rope or something.
Attached to a rope. Right, pretty high. You got to hoist it up and you got to lower it down. You can't just drop it. So you get like a band cut. People were dropping it from, you know, yay high off the ground, and that was a band cut. So
just like misgripped, boom. Over.
Because it's quite, you know, you're kind of like, I think just prior to that you'd had to get over these like quite high walls. So, you know, you have to use all your upper body. It's a lot of upper body sort of strength, and you come away from it and you're sort of like, I got a lot to work on.
Whereas the sort of sprinting stuff, are the obstacles more intense?
Like the running is where you make the ground. So you need to be, and quite a lot of it was through the bush, which was real nice. But it was also probably about 25 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we did it like midday, which had its challenges.
No aid station.
3 aid stations.
3 aid stations.
Yep, 3 aid stations. I mean, you sort of had to have that. And you basically ring the bell, you know, like you probably saw. You have to sort of work your way through the obstacle, hit the bell. If you don't hit the bell, then you basically get the band cut.
And so is there an adjudicator at each one, or someone's following?
Yeah, there's a technical officer. There's usually 2.
Yeah.
So they're making sure that, you know, because sometimes they have about 4 or 5 lanes. So there could be 4 or 5. And like, you know, if you have the elite ones coming through, you have to let them pass. Yeah, because I was in the age group category. So,
So your coach comes along and says, how about this? And you and your friend go, let's give it a go. What did that look like? Like, did you
basically
have any idea to like try and train for it?
He's definitely got the experience, and you know, he's puts us through our paces. He's like, well,
what's his background? Is he from the army or something?
No. No, I think he's just very passionate about, you know, helping other people. Like his you know, I don't know if you saw, but when I came back to New Zealand, I mean, I've got a huge support network, my gym that I go to, but they did a haka for me, you know, to acknowledge the sort of the support that they you know, have for me, and you know, still provide.
So what does Empower look like?
Empower Fitness, it's, I guess it's they run Les Mills classes, so it's pretty popular gym for Taupō.
I've had one of the owners in network, one of the ladies.
Oh, Donna.
And she said she was running the Les Mills classes.
So we do spins, really popular. And they also run sprint, which is a half hour. I guess, you know, higher intensity sort of spin class, which is amazing.
Is this where you were training today?
Right. So they also have like a fit zone, which is like boxing. You know, it sort of has monkey bars and TRX rows, and sort of that's where we do all of our training, out on the sort of turf. I guess they call that kind of the fit zone area. And that's a platinum membership, so it's a slightly more expensive membership than the
get to play with all the toys
than the regular. But I mean, those are the classes that we enjoy, because they do like a HIIT, a box fit. Greg used to run the OCR classes on like a Saturday, but it was sort of 8:30 on a Saturday morning. So the numbers, I guess, weren't there. But I mean, me and, you know, my training buddy is pretty motivated. So we sort of get Greg to write us up a program, and we sort of do 8-week sort of blocks.
Yeah.
So that includes, like, you know, some work in the gym and out of the gym. Like, you know, we might do hill sprints and stuff down at Spa Park.
So if you're up at drop zone with your gymnastics background, are you doing full like bouncy flips and stuff?
I think those days are gone.
Have you gone? No.
Nah, I don't know. I haven't done that sort of stuff for years, but certainly up at the Ninja Gym, we love. That's a great training ground up there.
Yeah, you were talking about have you done it? Yeah, when that was inside. Yeah, the first time we went there was inside, and I had to go and just like
on the trampoline.
Oh no, on the ninja part.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then the time after that was when it first got moved outside, and then I think the time after that it was raining, so couldn't go out there and have a go.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it being, you know, a bit more sunshine and being able to utilise that a bit more, because it's really good. Like me and my cousin Hanya, she was also in the New Zealand obstacle team. She lives over in Ratahi. Oh no, not Ratahi, in Raurimu, sorry. And she likes to come over, and so we race on the you know, so we've got, I think the first row we got down to under 30 seconds.
Nice.
So you're just trying to beat that time, I guess. But that warped wall's pretty gnarly. Did you give that a go? Or
when I was there was sort of some planks that had weird footholds in it.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of swings. There was a couple of like slippery barry trying to swing through there, and then real thin rings that you get on them, you're like,
yeah, so that's when it was inside,
yeah.
So it's changed a little on the outside. There's lots it's quite upper body heavy, which is quite good, but it does have that spider wall. Have you given that a go?
No.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. And then the cargo net, you got to do the flippy at the top. Have you seen people do that?
No.
Yeah, that's how you get over those things, eh?
Do a flip and
yeah.
Oof, yeah. They're putting that sort of gym setup. I've seen it in a few schools, including my daughter's school in Silverdale.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the one that's in the middle of Taupō, that big ring of obstacles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, as adults, you're like, oh, it's great to see.
It is, because you do see adults on them as well. Like, it's not just for the kids.
No,
yeah. So I think that's what it's all about. You know, people still having fun and doing their exercise as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just for the kids. And the kids see us doing it, and they're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are real into...
How old are they?
They are 7 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, you know, they want to do it too. They love the getting the medals at the end, you know? And... yeah, my son's always going on about coming first and stuff, and I'm like, you know, that's great, but also just like have fun out there, and you know, he's so small.
So you competitive?
I am competitive, but I could be more. So I think, you know, like I probably don't push as hard as I should.
Yeah.
But I definitely, you know, I put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sort of like, I just need to, I think it's just a confidence thing, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say, so 2 years in, are you sort of trying to find your training dynamic, your pushing dynamic still? Like, how
well,
hard
I
can
guess
it go?
I'm trying to juggle everything as well, because, you know, it's sort of working, being a mum, renovating the house, you know, studying.
Yeah.
It all takes time, but I mean, it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I guess, you know, I'm pretty lucky with my husband. He sort of, you know, just lets me go for it, and just have heaps of, you know, amazing support people, like, you know, my family and his family that have stepped in and helped with the kids when I need to, you know, book in a race, or because that's sort of where it goes now. You sort of book family holidays around race venues and stuff like that.
What's he into?
What was that, sorry?
What's he into?
He started doing a little bit of running.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of always like, you know, not really interested in running unless someone chases him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he surfs and kite surfs and stuff like that, so that's his kind of jam. But we don't live near the ocean, so Unless
some days that lake's like the ocean.
Yeah,
Crikey,
unless we get a boat, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, kite surfing's pretty sweet out on the lake, and
Yeah.
that. And he sort of has quite a busy sort of job, so that keeps him pretty busy.
Have you always been based around Taupō? Or?
No, we moved here about 5 years ago for his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we sort of had quite a hard time with my son, who was born with like a heart condition. So we sort of looked at moving out of Auckland after that.
Just because of the memories, or?
Yeah, just I just found it quite tough, I guess, and I just got sick of the big city, and like we just sort of weren't really going anywhere. It was sort of unaffordable, and then we found that Taupō was affordable for us. I mean, it's not affordable for a lot of people, which is unfortunate, but yeah, and just love the lifestyle down here. Able to sort of get on my bike, like I mountain bike a bit as well, so probably 3 times a week I'm out on my bike, straight from home, you know, everything's at your doorstep. I mean, you don't even need 2 cars really in Taupō. Yeah. It's pretty easy to get around it. I mean, I kind of like that lifestyle, and, you know, showing my kids that, you know, you don't have to jump in a car to go everywhere, you know, you can...
Yeah, suburb to suburb in Auckland, sometimes you're like, you either stay in your suburb, or when you're like, oh, how the hell do I get across there?
Yeah.
And it's such a mission for everything. Like,
yeah, it is. I mean, I certainly miss like being near the whānau, and like having that support is tough. But I mean, I've got my brother and sister that live in Australia, so you know, we're not super close, like living wise, we're close, you know, a close whānau, but yeah, tough in that regard, but you know, have built sort of, or, you know, made nice friends here and built a bit of a community, so that's been really awesome in the you know, with everything that I've sort of got going on at the moment.
Yeah, 5 years. How did it sort of take the first couple of years to get settled?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I've moved around a lot, and a lot of times when I've got near that 2-year period, I'm kind of like, oh, I'm starting to like know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I don't know if I could move from here.
Yeah.
You know, like you sort of like, oh, I just couldn't imagine, you know, like just everything that Taupō has to offer is just ideal for a young family, or you know, any age really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of opportunities here.
Yeah, well, like we're still commuting down from Tokoroa, but you know, like Nicole's daughter's involved with gymnastics.
Yes, does she go to Tara?
Yeah. She's just sort of doing the
competitive, or
the fun one. Yeah,
which I think is great. Like I sort of try to encourage my daughter, but she's not overly keen, but she's sort of quite keen on this obstacle sort of thing, with which is great with Ultimate Athlete, because they do sort of like the kids race, which
what are the locations for Ultimate Athlete? Only the Mount?
So the Mount, and they did do Ārepa, but I think they're sort of doing South Island as well. Like, I don't know if this is like they're doing Nelson next weekend.
Is that where you're going?
Or this weekend, yeah, so that's the first time they've done it in Nelson, so I guess it could be a thing for the South Island, I'm not too sure. But there is also, so Wairoa, or Nelson Obstacle Park is what they're calling it.
Right.
And they are, I believe they're looking at running a couple events a year. So they're what I just went to before the Worlds. So it was sort of like, I don't know if you saw the sort of videos, but their obstacles are pretty tough.
Do you remember? Oh, they kind of brought it back. Joseph Sullivan was on it. There used to be a Battle of the Regions, and they'd be on a army confidence course.
Oh yeah.
And the biggest thing that I remember that I always wanted to do was the last obstacle was a massive rope swing into the mud.
Oh yeah, so fun.
Yeah. I can't remember what the TV show was called. All I remember is that when it came back, Joseph Sullivan was on it, and he used to row against my brother, and like they used to call him Wingnut, and like he'd like row one race, win it, row back to the start, row another one and win it, go back to the start, row another one and win it.
So it's just an absolute machine.
Yeah, just a machine.
Yeah.
So like to see him and Nathan Cohen did at London, just like be so far behind and just crush it. You're like, oh yeah, that's Joseph Sullivan. Now he's on the yachts and stuff, and
oh yeah,
firefighter. And you're like, oh,
but I mean, that's what makes it kind of fun as well. Like getting a bit wet, getting a bit muddy. You know, like at the recent Wairua, we sort of didn't really get, because it was so dry. But just got a few blackberry bites, you know, just like through the thorns and stuff. But yeah, that was a super fun, that's an amazing course to get to as well. I mean, any obstacle race, we're heading down to Alpha in Wanaka as well next month. So they, that's another endorsed race for the world's sort of, that the New Zealand Obstacle Sports Association that's part of, but that's, I think there's a 10 and a 6k.
Right.
So 6k is it's generally sort of 6 and 10. I think with Ultimate Athlete they do a 3 as well.
Yeah.
So it cuts out a bit of the running. So I'm actually going to give that a try this weekend. I haven't done a 3k before, so
nice.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's usually pretty fast. Because you know it's not heaps of running, I guess. It's just because this weekend it's like the 3k is 1 lap, 6k is 2, and then the 10 is 3. So I'm just not sure if you have to do the walked wall 3 times or yeah.
What's been the learning curve like? Do most people have the skill set to do it, or do you just?
I think so.
You think? Right.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like mind.
Right.
Like I was talking to my coach today, and I was just sort of like, with my running.
Yeah.
Like I think it might be like a mental thing that's sort of
so
holding
what
me
is
back.
It like? I don't want to get there and be exhausted, or because it's racing. Is that the thing?
I don't know. I think it's just like my mind goes. Because I pack quite a lot into my day. I'm quite I mean, people are busy, you know, but I guess I feel like I can't shut off my mind. You know, like my mind's still going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Thinking about what else I've got to do or something, you know.
While you're running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I sort of, I don't know, it's like a focus. So I'm just sort of working on a few things. Like he's sort of encouraging me to, you know, have a routine in the morning, which I kind of have started, but I mean I kind of get up in the morning, you know, have a coffee, and then I like to do a bit of yoga. So my kids, like, I'm like, okay guys, it's my time here.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's usually only for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I try to do that every day.
Yeah.
And that really helps kind of set me up for the day, I guess. So yeah, he's just trying to encourage me to kind of do that, and I'm just hoping that, you know, that will sort of bring a bit more calmness.
Yeah.
Start the day in kind of like that calm kind of way, to get me, I guess, a bit more
in the zone.
Yeah.
Is there a season? Like you said, you're doing 8-week training blocks.
We just go generally kind of back to back. He mixes it up a bit. This is a bit lately we've been working on like mobility and stuff as well, so incorporating like the stretch bands. You probably saw us jumping like idiots today.
attached to the wall of dumbbells. Thank goodness.
Yeah. He was like, oh, just try it once and see how you go. But yeah, we had to do 25 of those today, so you feel a bit, you know, but it's been real good, like just mixing it up a bit. And I mean, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. So you're always kind of like, okay, this is what I want to work towards. Yeah. And then Greg kind of, you know, puts in the work and gets you there. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just that mental sort of thing is what I have to work on myself. Yeah. I think.
Buzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Ninja Warrior obviously is on TV.
Yeah.
There's another one, and he was watching it. Nick Cummins and Kylie Minogue were the commentators from Australia. It was like a world challenge, sort of ninja race. Yeah. But they had lots of ones where they were hanging and just people's grip was just blowing out.
Oh, yeah. And it's usually water underneath.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's, I mean, people don't really mind falling into water, eh? I mean,
But that was like, if they dropped, then their time was up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their
it was
ninja
elimination.
walls are like huge, eh? Like
Yeah.
what they have to run up at the end.
Yeah, or like jumping onto things that then fall, and you're like, oh man, how do you even balance on that?
Yeah, those
Yeah.
people, like, honestly, watching the 100 meter, because at the Worlds they had a 100 meter course.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of that
No.
footage, but the people just absolutely fly.
Well, even though there's a video of you going up onto some rings and just sort of going across, you were sort of trying to skip a one or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one guy just comes along beside, I think he's
Yeah.
a Filipino fella, he just like, boom, boom, boom. I was like,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what is that?
It's very intimidating. Like, you got because you had, I guess we got there one afternoon, and that was like a practice afternoon, and then they think they had a full day of practice. And just like watching these amazing athletes do that, and you're like, how the heck am I going to do that?
Competing, yeah.
Like, you know, because I was sort of like, oh, I want to give sort of everything a go. But yeah, they were just some of them were just skipping the whole thing. Like, I don't know if you saw there was kind of like one that had four grips on it that are kind of like those rock climbing
Grip.
ones.
Yeah, I did see that one, yeah.
And some of them
And
were
you were kind of like, oh, how do I hug this? Or
yeah,
so-
like it actually had quite a bit of grip to it.
Yeah,
But the ones that were real fast were just actually flying through that and hitting the bell.
yeah.
Like, because it's big risk, big reward, right?
Break your hand, smash your knuckles. Oh, shit.
Yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, I'll just fly through that, and if I make it, I make it. Because you have to, if you don't if you fall off it,
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to go out and back around.
Yeah.
So you get 2 attempts,
And then you've lost a band if you've...
and then you're out, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So you don't get bans for the 100 meter. It's
Yeah, right.
basically heats.
yeah.
So you do a heat. I think I came like in my age group, I came 15 out of 16. I mean, you know, it took me like
Not the worst of the best.
yeah, it took me I think 2 minutes, and then like the fastest girl in my group was like maybe 45 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely flying. So I mean, it's, you know, definitely something to work on, but it's also, they had the I don't know if you saw, but at the start they have these like monkey bars, and they were kind of like low, high,
Yeah.
low. And so the real quick ones would just jump from all the low ones.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd just be able to do that. But I just, you know, didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
And
I think,
it wasn't
I think
the
I saw you
time to
practicing on
sort
that
of...
one, and you kind of went up, and then you kind of like, well, maybe I can swing, and you're like, what? And so then you're like, no, I'm going to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of second guess. But I mean, it wasn't the time to sort of...
Experiment.
No.
No. Yeah.
No. I damaged my shoulder in Australia kind of doing that. I just actually had it scanned today. So...
So, you're waiting
yeah,
to find
I'm
out.
just waiting to see. But yeah, it's nothing major, I don't think. It's just a bit niggly.
Yeah. So what's obviously the 3 different distance races, what are the energy systems like? Like the 100 meters is pretty like
100 metres full gas.
full gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people just go there to compete in the 100 metre.
Yeah.
The 3K is real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe some of the fastest times like 19 minutes to do a 3K. And that's, I don't know if it was 20, maybe 25 obstacles and 3Ks. I mean, that's quite quick. And then the 14K, 50 obstacles, and then the team race, which is a 6K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
So yeah, not everyone does everything, but I mean, I sort of looked at it like it's an opportunity to really, you know,
Find your niche.
yeah. And I mean, I'm glad I gave the 100 meter a go. I certainly wasn't the fastest, but I wasn't the slowest either.
Yeah.
And I mean, the 14K was definitely where I thought I was, you know,
Yeah.
I had sort of high hopes of doing quite well, but then once you lose that third band, you're just sort of like, I think I lost it on the maybe like fourth to last obstacle.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was, I really wanted to be able to keep it going into those real challenging ones, which were the sort of hanging ropes. And I don't know if you saw like the parallel bars that were kind of swinging.
Oh, they're hard enough fixed.
Yeah. So they were swinging, and then it was, yeah. I mean, it was a lot. I should have probably...
Could they have splayed out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like you had to keep it in, and you had to... They've got like little bits of tape, so you start behind the tape and get past the tape, and then you got to lock your foot off on this rope and get your arms over. And I mean, some of our Kiwi guys did amazing, and they managed to do that obstacle. And yeah, there were a lot of people that could do it, but just lots of things to work on, I guess.
So would you go on like Treasure Island or Survivor?
I don't know. Me and my friend have talked about...
You might have immunity the whole time.
What is it that... is it SAS?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my friend talked about, applying for that.
Oh, that was, again...
Was it the SAS?
What's his name? Honey Badger. Did he end up having a fight with a girl or that? He got into a bit of trouble?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think that's how he ended up commentating this ninja thing.
Oh, yeah.
After the SAS show.
Yeah, well, the commentators on the 100-metre ninja course, they're just incredible, eh? Like, they're so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a lot going on. And, they have the adaptive athletes as well. Yeah. Which is just incredible. Like, people that are blind and people with, like, one leg. Mm-hmm. And they're able to do, those obstacles is just, like, incredible to watch.
What was the who was supporting the Worlds? Like, what was the sponsorship? And, like, are there any brands that are getting involved in it? Or
I think because... So I don't know if you've seen, but they're it's sort of working towards getting it in the Olympics.
Yeah, that was going to be my other question with rock climbing racing in the Olympics. Is this something that they're trying to drive?
So there's I think there's quite a bit of controversy at the moment about it. Just because it is its own sport.
It's objective results though, right? It's not like gymnastics where it's subjective grading and your own.
No. Yeah, it's timed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you saw. Would you have seen the buzzers, the 100-metre?
No.
So you basically have to hit the buzzer at the top. So it's fully timed.
Yeah.
Actually, at the Worlds, like one of the buzzers went down.
No.
Yeah. So they had an absolute nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the
he's trying to get into the Olympics and it goes wrong.
Someone pulled out a cable, and so one of the buzzers wasn't displaying any time. Oh, no. So only one of them was showing a time. I mean, that's just a nightmare, eh?
Yeah. Was that the proving ground, or is it still in a bit of a process?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened with that, but I mean, if that was... Yeah, there was definitely a few, improvements to be made, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an unreal experience. And I think, if anyone's looking to try obstacle course racing, they should just give it a go.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
So what have we got set up in New Zealand? People with a hobby holding events, or there's...
Well, it's basically the races.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in any way, come along to one of the races. You've got...
I just had a thought. The person that's at the Rugby World Cup, is it Kirsten? She does Spartan, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have
or
anything...
Kirsty or
I don't believe at this stage we have any Spartans in New Zealand happening in the near future.
Yeah.
But there's 3, I believe, next year in Aussie.
Yeah.
There's one next month in Fiji. But I mean,
25 degrees at your heart out.
Yeah.
It'd be 35 degrees.
Yikes, it'd be hot, eh?
And humid.
Yeah. But I mean, Aussie will be the same though, depending on what time of year.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got Bright, which is Melbourne.
Yeah.
Picton, which I think is New South Wales, and then Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So, and there's a great opportunity to get over there as well. Spartan's slightly different as well, eh?
So that's not linked to the same organisation?
No.
No?
No, different.
Yeah.
Different organisation. But I mean, same sort of events, eh? Big strength sort of based carries. Everything with Spartan just seems a little bit more, that one step further. Like, I guess with Ultimate Athlete, there's that A-frame, that you see that people do the flips over. But Spartan's got this massive, it's like
Very
that,
cool.
whereas, Yoe's a little bit down here.
Yeah.
Spartan's like that. So it's
You have that big sort of vert ramp thing in Ultimate Athlete, trying to...
the warped wall.
Yeah,
so is it the one that you have to
looks like a
run
skate
up?
ramp.
Yeah. So that's that was quite a challenge last time actually because it was raining. So it was a bit wet.
Yeah.
I didn't actually manage to do it last time, which was a bit embarrassing. But
Yeah.
I think they do it like honest attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't actually lose a band for that one.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I'm not sure how they're gonna.
Get it
I mean,
right.
it's like you definitely want to give it a go because you might surprise yourself. It's just you just got to go full send. You just got to go full run way further than you think you have to do.
Are we behind the times on all this stuff? Like, I feel like there's Ultimate Athlete, there's Spartan, there's CrossFit, there's I just saw turf games just happened recently. Like, all of a sudden, there's all these things. Like,
I feel like we are a little bit, yeah.
and
I
is
mean,
it like
it's
kind of like a post-COVID flurry?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we it's just raising awareness as well. Like, do people even know what obstacle course racing is? I just don't know if like high rocks as well. Like, we don't have that over here.
What is that?
So I think it's like an 8-kilometer course, and then you have like 8 different obstacles.
Wow.
One of the guys on the New Zealand team just did it recently, and yeah, sounds pretty challenging. I think it might be in like a factory, like in more of a warehouse. So you do like almost like those Deca Fit. Have you heard of those as well? Yeah. So
I've heard of exteriors, like just swing with pedals and running and swing with pedals and running.
Yeah. So I just don't think we have these things in New
That was
Zealand yet.
like Ultimate Athlete. You've got people like Willie Wailoa,
yeah.
and then you've got Joe Holy. She's hosting it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
she's done it for the last couple of years.
It's like she's been on Treasure Island, so you're like, oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Liam Messam, Troy Flavel. You're like, oh, kind of like.
I think
big burly guys. Like,
they participated in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know like DJ Forbes. He is like a sort of a CrossFit-y type gym in Auckland. I think Troy Flavel's a bit the same.
Yeah, and Shane Cameron's got his boxing gym.
Yeah, boxing gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they've got their little like niche part, but then again it's a broad gym, so you've got to have offering lots of things. And so then you get these events going on, and they're kind of like, as a crew, like, oh yeah, go along. Like, did you ever go to Ludus in Auckland? Yeah, so that was again sort of at the start of the CrossFit round. Ludus kind of came along with group fitness.
Oh yeah.
Sledgehammers, tyres, chin-ups, running, wheelbarrow walks, burpees.
That's pretty fun though, eh?
Yeah, it was I think it's still running. I don't say it
kind of reminds you of like a lumberjack festival or something.
Do you know what Bradley Thorne did?
No.
Oh, so he splits wood on Instagram. So I've dabbled a bit myself on splitting wood.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. All these sort of things that they have on, like we've got that wood chopping one in Puhoi, I think.
Yeah.
Don't we have that every year?
Well, so Timber Sports has just turned into this sprint race. So Jack Jordan, he's from Tomanui, he's won the last 2. And so last year when they went over, they sort of did about 1 minute. So they did hot saw, I think it's called underhand, single sword or buck saw or whatever it's called, and then a standing block. And so last year the Jack broke a minute in the heats, and that was like as good as they could go. This year in the final, him and the other guy did 50 seconds, and so in the space of the year they improved what they were doing by 10 seconds. But yeah, Jack said last year that was like the hardest thing he's ever done.
So is that like a lot of practice during the year to chop off the time?
Yeah, he just sort of
quite a lot, eh?
He just sort of said it was again like the energy system, just like going and like quick turnaround. It was like heats and knockout, and whereas they'd rock up and do one discipline, and the guys that sort of do like the jiggle board and whatever are a bit more lean. The guys that do like soaring are, massive guys, and then the
Yeah.
guys that are doing chopping kind of in between. Jack's actually, he's massive. He's played.
So do you need to be a bit of a hybrid? Like,
Yeah,
be
I
good
think
at
so.
all-
Like Jack's a loose forward lock, and so he's just like big, powerful, strong. And the same with Jason Wynyard. He was like a big, powerful, strong dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it is to then race. Like they were racing before, but race across multiple disciplines. I guess they've got to be.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess, what it's like with obstacle course racing as well.
Yeah.
You sort of need to have quite a, like, to be quite strong,
Yeah.
but then agile,
Yeah.
to get across, like, the obstacles, and just have, like, the mental strength to give it a go.
Did you get to socialise much with people?
Yeah, they have this, like, athletes village,
Yeah.
which was real cool, like, with all the other countries, and yeah, I mean, we were right next to the Aussies, which is a cracker.
Yeah.
They're always pretty.
And what were their
times.
backgrounds?
They compete a lot in the Spartan events.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see them all at Spartan Australia. They seem to do Tough Mudder as well.
Yeah,
maybe?
that's the other one. Tough
Yeah.
Mudder. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that one looks real tough, eh?
Yeah.
And I think with Spartan, the one that I'm looking at going to in February in Bright, they've got like I think it's 50 kilometres and like
Wow.
60 obstacles. I'm just like, I don't know if I'll be doing that one.
Yeah.
But, that's the kind of, like, that's a lot of work, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah. On the weekend, I paced my mate on the 100, and so we were standing at the
I saw you doing that. Yeah.
24 to go, and you're just
Yeah.
like watching the 70s and the 50s and the 100 athletes come through, and you're just like looking at all the people and like what they're doing, and then you see them at the finish line, and you're like, that's unreal. Like, how did you do that?
And so how did that work? Like, did you...
For what I was doing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, I think the 70k people were allowed to as well have someone run with you for the last 24k.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Kinloch to Whakapo Bay around the peninsula. Yeah, it was.
That's so awesome.
It was really fun for me. Like I just sort of set him.
Well,
behind,
you just
set
did
him,
24k.
Yeah, set him behind him, and like just sort of every now and again I'd drop some words of encouragement, say stupid shit, keep the vibe.
Yeah,
healthy.
well, that's what it's all about, eh? Because,
Yeah.
like, how was he?
Oh, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I did 54 2021, January 2021, and like my last 20 odd Ks were pretty dark. I was in Christchurch the weekend before and looking across at the hill that I came down. I was like, yeah, that was real steep. No wonder everything started to blow out.
Yeah.
But like my family sort of leapfrogged me on the road a little bit, and that was quite helpful. But it was just real hard grind.
And you couldn't have a pacer?
Nah. And like Pat as well, he'd done a 50 in Noosa in about March, and he sort of had a similar race, and like it was a bit hard, a lot of walking and sort of things like that. He's done a lot of the Auckland half marathon circuit the last few years.
Yeah.
So he's done a lot more running than I have, and yeah. So then since he sort of got over that in March, him and I did a run in April or May, 30k along the river trail, and I think that was when he was starting to be like, getting over the trauma of the 50k and being like, right, I think I'm going to do something bigger. And
So is that his first 100k? Or?
First 100k,
Yeah.
So he's gone from 50 to 100,
Yikes.
and did really well, finished really strong. So
how long did that take?
I think he's 12:40 maybe. I think that might
That's
have
a
been
long
right.
time to
long
be
time,
running.
Long time
eh?
around. I
Yeah.
can even look it up. I think pretty quickly. Yeah, but it was, as the pacer, it was just a lot of fun.
And so are you thinking about doing that next year? Or?
No. I've had lots of people being like, "Oh, why aren't you doing it?" And I was like, "Well, I'm commuting, and so I just don't have the time for it."
Yeah. And I mean, how much training has to go into something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, is that 6 months or is
Yeah,
that...
I think 6 months would be right.
And you need to be pretty dedicated.
Yeah,
'cause
12
you'll be-
hours 48 which was really good.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think.
Do they have a cut-off or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they sort of
send a sweeper through or?
Yeah, and I think from Kinloch you had to get there at a certain time.
Oh yeah.
Like we left at about 3:00 and we were told that we had to have head torches.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe it was a bit earlier than that, 2:40 odd. Yeah.
Because it looked like there were a few people out there supporting as well.
Yeah, yeah. And
which was cool.
Especially Kinloch, because they sort of had a relay there, and the 50 was sort of a loop from there, and the 70 came through there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, there was lots of people. Yeah, could have more food. That would be some feedback.
More food.
Yeah,
like food trucks. Or
yeah,
something.
food trucks for the punters. But
yeah,
I think there was just so much on this weekend. It was the Motu on. Down in Christchurch was Crater Rim.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just and I don't know that we have like a huge amount of food trucks available. In
After
terms
COVID,
of choices. But yeah, food is always good.
Yeah, there's plenty of food if you're competing.
That's what you're looking for at the end of it.
Yeah.
But you sort of don't really know what you want to. Like at the Worlds, I think they had ice creams and burgers and I don't know. Like,
there's a guy, Scott, that went to UTMB, so Ultra. Oh, that might be the wrong way around. MTB. I don't know, but Mount Blanc anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something like 170 k's or something like that up a hill.
Yeah, that looks
mountain.
Pretty incredible.
Pretty incredible. But he said the aid stations were the greatest he's ever seen.
Oh really?
But there was like salamis and cheeses.
Wow.
So he's like, I haven't really trained eating that.
Yeah, sounds spicy.
Yeah. I don't know. It's supposed to be. I think it's France. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think you get a little bit sick of like the gels and the hydration. I mean, I certainly was like a bit spent on all that kind of stuff after the Worlds. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're like, look, I'd love to eat whole food, and then especially on something like 100 k's, you're like, man, I've got to eat a lot of whole food to fuel that, and so you just go to the gels. But then you're right, even like 24 k's, that was 5 gels. I was like, the table was like, give me some of those chips.
Yeah. And the lollies. Just with me, I never really like to eat much before I race.
Yeah.
Which probably is not the greatest. Probably just need to get a bit better at that. But it's working out what you want to put in, because I just don't like to feel too, I guess, full and you know.
Are you working with anyone in terms of nutrition yet? Or?
Nah, I don't. I just kind of have always been quite cautious about what I eat. Yeah. Generally pretty healthy. Eat meat, and I'm not vegetarian or vegan or anything. I don't have a lot of dairy because that doesn't really agree with me. Yeah, but I usually just have like arbon. Like I take pre-workout and energy fizz sort of things.
Those things are great.
Yeah, and then the after workout is a great one. I find that real good.
They're quite good on the carbs, those, aren't they?
Yeah. And my husband's cousin does Rome Energy, so I usually stick to them for protein. And they do the like peanut butter kind of sachets, which are great little travel snacks. So and great to find in your bag if you sort of like haven't had anything, and then you're like, oh shit, I've got that.
I like a slug of peanut butter. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Pic's little slugs.
Rome do I think they do chocolate, coconut and espresso. Yeah, which is real
Where are
good.
they based?
They're based in Auckland,
right,
I believe. At the moment, I believe.
Yeah, there's lots of people doing little things, and then you find them, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, real good. And especially supporting people that, support you and stuff. So all about that, supporting local.
What sort of equipment do you need? Like
for
a trail shoe?
I love my Essex Tribuco. Like I run in those. I have run in those for the last couple of years. They've got quite a good tread on them. Those work for me. But lots of people you see lots of interesting shoes out on the courses. Some people have like little mountain shoes, and but those work for me. I think they're sort of like quite a quite a runner's shoe, but a trail running shoe.
And you wear like lycra protectors or anything like that?
No, I've just started wearing for the Worlds. The team got some. Have you heard of Lily Trotters? The socks.
No.
Sort of like compression socks. So I
Right.
started wearing the longer socks.
Yeah.
I thought, I've never really worn them, but I sort of started trialing them out before I went away, and they're really good, especially if you're doing like rope climbs
Protecting
and protecting your shins, because you just get nailed.
Yeah.
So and I mean, when they get wet, they're fine, and
And sleeves? You don't
I
worry so
haven't
much about
trialed
that?
sleeves. No. I mean, I've seen people do wear them, but I haven't trialed those yet. I think socks have been a starter, because I've always been sort of, pretty casual with my socks. But
So burns a pretty common injury.
yeah, shin splints and, all sorts. So
Bruising.
Yeah.
Burning.
yeah.
Grazing. Grazing?
yeah.
No?
Yeah, a bit of grazing, bit of bruising, like especially under your arm sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But depends, it's all part of it.
Were there any big injuries?
And
At Worlds?
well, that's I think one of the British 100-meter girls, because people were going quite hard out, like on their big risk, big reward, and I think she really damaged her shoulder. I just saw on Instagram that she had an X-ray and looked like she'd sort of put her shoulder out.
Ooh.
So she wasn't even able to compete.
Yeah.
So that was on the practice run.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and I think there was a bit of dehydration in that,
Right.
maybe just because of the heat. But other than that, I don't think there was anything too major otherwise.
Spectator wise, can that create a bit of an atmosphere for 100 metres?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those big clacker things. You
Yeah.
know, people are. Huge atmosphere. They've usually got a podium.
Yeah.
And that could be just like super
And
intimidating.
an MC and things going.
Yeah. So they usually have one at one end and one at the other, and then at the buzzer they've got someone there. They've got the technical officers on all obstacles. I think there's 12 obstacles.
Yeah.
So there's like one on each side, making sure that, because it's a race and it's real.
And it's adjudicated. And
Yeah, got to make sure that it's done properly. But yeah, pretty fun sort of atmosphere.
And were the fans, did they appear to be educated on what they were watching? Or didn't take a little bit to work out, they were just straight into it?
Yeah, everyone pretty much knows. And like with the, even with our races, like it's quite a spectator.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to sort of wander throughout the course, and, everyone's taking photographs and video and whatnot. People, doing the big risk
Is anyone doing content yet?
content.
Yeah, so like with CrossFit, there's the Buttery Bros. They made the first few like strong, fittest men on earth
There's
doco type things.
a few, like, I think there's like quite a few that cover it, but we didn't actually have, like, it was a bit of a shame really, they didn't have live coverage for the Worlds, so you weren't able to kind of get the live feed. One of my friends or peers came over from Germany actually, and she was videoing on Snapchat.
Yeah.
So she was able to kind of share that with them.
So with the world.
With my friends anyway.
That's basically how I got started in like content day. When I played rugby at varsity, and the year after in Auckland, and the year after I left, one of my teammates who I played with in Dunedin, he started up this thing called the Rugby Roundup on Snapchat. So the next season I got to watch varsity sort of playing via Snapchat. And they went on to win the Gallagher Shield that year. And that was the year I took off rugby. So the next year I was playing at Christchurch Rugby Club. So I was like, I'll do the Christchurch edition. And then I moved to Cambridge, and so I did 3 years of the Rugby Roundup, and then I started like putting that onto YouTube. And then in Australia as well, I'd started the podcast by then, but I was playing for a team over there, and I started doing the Rugby Roundup. I think I changed to Instagram there. That was sort of like the content game, but yeah, it's so handy how you can just like, get a cell phone out and record stuff, add a few comments, and the rest of the world can be like, oh, that's cool.
Well, especially when, people are, invested. They're like, yeah, I want to see, how that's going, and
Yeah.
you know, I wish I could be there, but I can't. So you know, it's like the next best thing.
Yeah, I don't know the origin of Buttery Bros, whether they were doing it by themselves at first or CrossFit had started employing them and then CrossFit like laid off all these staff, and so then they were like, oh, well, we'll keep making content for ourselves, and then I think they ended up being contracted back to the CrossFit in the end because they'd done such a good job. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, if they're getting the views in that, that's
yeah, and they had pretty high tech cameras. Like they had all the gear already, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it
All
was
the
just,
gear and no idea.
yeah. Well, I think when they started the YouTube channel, they're like, how the hell do we edit? Like, you know, Mr. Beast sort of hacking things like thumbnails and content and copywriting and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's a
Well, it's
massive
hard
game.
to get the quality. Like,
Yeah.
'cause you'll get people sharing or whatever, but you send it through Facebook or whatever, the quality's terrible.
Gets compressed. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you send it through WhatsApp, I think it's better, but it's still not great, eh?
Yeah.
Unless you airdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, if you've got a big camera and big tech, then you need big recording and big processing, and it's like not only do you need a new massive camera, then you need a new massive computer and a couple of hard drives and backups.
And then you need to be real fast to catch these people because they're moving quickly.
Yeah, that's the good thing about CrossFit, isn't it? It's just an arena, so you know,
Yeah.
move around. But yeah, like,
I know
we'll
you
just
see
have
some of the content that's captured these days, and you're like, how the hell is it captured?
drones, chase people with drones.
Yeah, basically. Or this, like, how do they hold the camera so still?
Oh yeah, gimbals. So like one of the ones the Buttery Bros have. He has a big frame with his big camera in the middle, and then large lens and stuff. And so he's running around, but the actual camera's staying
yeah,
still.
got ya.
Yeah. So I think the guy that rides the no arm Segway at the rugby, he's and the cricket as well. They're a bit the same. They're holding this thing that's sort of connected to a chest strap and bounces along, and the camera stays
Yeah,
in
my
one place.
cousin actually took the GoPro on the team race.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. She got some pretty funny footage. Lots of bum shots. Eh?
Oh, especially that wall where you guys had to climb up each other. That would be terrific.
But that was pretty funny, you know, watching that back. But yeah, it was sort of like at the centre, you know, on her chest. So sometimes it was a bit of obstacle in itself.
Yeah. Have you seen the guy that likes trains and he has a 360 camera that he puts on his head?
No. He likes trains.
He likes trains.
Yeah.
He's in the UK and he just like waits at the platform for certain. He knows them all, like certain trains to show up. And he's just like laughs. He's like, "Oh my god!" And he's super excited. But like the camera's like pointing down on his head, but also at the platform and the train coming by. So it's like a 360 view.
What is that on the gram?
Yeah, it's on TikTok. Yeah, he's
classic.
loose. And then there's a bloke here in Taupō that I had as a patient the other week, and I was like, "What are you into?" He's like, "Oh, trains." And I said, "Do you know this guy?" He's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh really?
Yeah.
So it's one of his mates.
Yeah, this the same vibe, eh? Just
Oh.
into trains.
So he's like, I think I might get one of those cameras as well.
Yeah, hard out.
So we just don't have enough trains here. Right?
He just got the one at the park here in Taupō.
Yeah. Get pretty dull.
And then you'd have to go all the way over the hill, main trunk, and see a real train.
Yeah. And I don't know if the train in Taupō goes that often these days, is it?
Nah.
It probably hasn't in winter.
No, they're going school holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got to go speak at the Lions. And
Did you?
yeah, that was basically, I think that's like the vibe of the Lions in Taupō is running that train and fundraising via the train.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah, and they were stoked as that they'd put in FPOS and
They've got FPOS now.
yeah, they'll tap and go. They're like, "Oh man, we made so much more money." I was like, well, you know, that's the thing, eh? You've got to remove those barriers.
And then the pay wave fees.
You pay way fees. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
And it's funny now that people are putting on their terminal way no surcharge. And it's like, oh good, no actually tap.
Yeah. And then others are just, we're a surcharge.
Yeah. No, it's rough.
It's much easier to just pay wave though, isn't it?
Yeah, you're being like disincentivized for efficiency. Or
and then you forget your PIN number and stuff like that because you haven't used it in so long.
I've just changed cards. That's been a nightmare. I've had the same password since I was 15.
Oh yeah, don't tell too many people that. People will know what it is.
Oh, too bad. Now I've got a new one.
Yeah. Never use that one again.
Yeah. But it's like the amount of times that you just go to autopilot and then you go, oh, sorry, decline.
We're like, I think I remember what that password is.
How was travelling over there? No treacherous stories?
Not really. It was pretty fun actually.
Belgium's a pretty chill country, right?
Well, it's different. Like, it's a bit different because I was sort of like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I sort of went over and had a couple of chill days.
Yeah.
So I went to Bruges.
Yeah.
And that's like French speaking. So that was real cute. But they had like all this amazing food and I couldn't even eat it.
Because it was all dairy.
No, because it was just all like, food I should be eating before I'm racing. So I was just like, I didn't really eat it, but yeah, it was pretty fun. Nice and chill and so easy to get around.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate? How'd you go on chocolate?
Yeah, I just looked at it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was devastating. But yeah, I'm more of a lolly person anyway.
Lolly person,
yeah.
Was there any gems out of Belgium in terms of the lolly confectionery?
Nah, not really. They just love their chocolate.
They're just all about the chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate, pastries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coffee was pretty good.
They do good coffee in Belgium.
Yeah. Where the Worlds were, they don't even have Uber. So that was quite interesting. And no like Lime bikes or anything that you could hire. So the first day I actually walked from like where I was staying to the venue.
Good. And
that took me maybe like an hour and a quarter.
Good warm up.
Yeah. So I was like, I probably won't do that again.
Didn't get bikes after that, or?
No, just some of the team had rental cars,
Yeah.
so we kind of like managed it that way. Did get a taxi one time, but that was about it. It's just like the buses, sort of, you had to get on one to get on another, so it was sort of like a little bit clunky. But other than that, it was pretty cute little town, like.
And the place where it was held is usually set up for obstacle racing, or?
I think it's like an old heritage site. Like, I think it used to be like a prison or something like that. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but it was pretty out there.
Yeah.
And it's like a national park, so lots of people walking around. Like, there were people just, walking their dogs and stuff like that. So you'd come across them in the race and you'd be like, excuse me, can you get off the race course?
Oh, coming through.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the technical officials were like, excuse me. Yeah.
And where are they all from?
All over the world, yeah. I actually that's probably something that I want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Like doing I think you have to do a course.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, but one of our guys in the New Zealand team is actually based in the UK. So he's a technical official.
Are there many rules?
Yeah. There's a lot of rules. Yeah.
So
each obstacle has its own rules.
Yeah.
Because, like a lot of the hanging obstacles, you are not allowed to touch the ground.
Yeah.
But then some of them you can, like, graze the ground.
Right.
Like, it's all this kind of, like... So, it's very...
So, being tall will help you get to the obstacle, but might put you at a disadvantage because you've got to hold your legs up.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you saw this one, but it was like a high to low rig. And that's where I lost my last band, so I was like pretty devastated there. But yeah, some people just flew through that obstacle, but I just hadn't done enough work to kind of get through that. So yeah.
How are you measuring progress and overload and stuff in your training? Do you set a goal for your block, or?
Not really. I focus on my running.
Yeah. Because
that's where I really struggle.
Yeah.
So for me, seeing progress in my running is seeing my pace, improve.
Yeah.
Which, it sort of does by the end of an 8-week block.
Yeah.
But that's, sprints every week, a long run, a couple of short runs. So for me, that's kind of... I haven't been able to do heaps of strength because of my shoulder. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have just been focusing on my running lately.
What have you been doing for your shoulder up until today, getting the scan?
Well, I sort of injured it a couple of months ago. And I was getting a bit of physio and stuff, needling and cupping, but it wasn't really doing anything. So I was kind of like, okay, well,
What have we done?
yeah. So my physio was like, oh, we'll just book you in for a scan and an X-ray. So just had that done today.
Was that can you do that in Taupō?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, they do have the facilities.
With Isaiah, I'm almost like, are you guys coming to town?
Yeah, I think I did have to wait like a month.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, I potentially could have rung and seen if I could get in at Rotorua or something. But yeah, just hoping it's nothing like, doesn't mean an op or anything like that.
Yeah, they're like, you might want to see a shoulder specialist. You're like, damn.
Yeah, might want a new hobby. I'll be like, nah, sorry.
Did you have any injuries in gymnastics?
My knees.
Knees.
Eventually. Yeah, I think that's kind of what... I think I just got to the end of it. I mean, I used to do it for like 9 hours a week. And being a young...
Was that Auckland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did at the North Shore Event Centre or whatever it was, North Harbour. So I did that probably, I think, for like 5 years. And then I just sort of had enough of it.
Did you have a discipline you were into? Or?
No, it was just like bars, beam, floor,
Yeah.
the usual, I think, fifth rotation, and was there something else? It wasn't like the, what is it? The one where you throw the ribbons up and stuff like that. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've also sort of noticed like definitely have things to work on, like balance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So those are sorts of things that I probably need to just improve on, because they sort of throw all those sorts of things in.
What age group did you give up?
Maybe like 11.
11. And then you said you went into the gym.
Yeah, so I started going to, I guess like a, just a normal gym. Used to do a lot of running on the treadmill.
Did you get coaching or just like...
Yeah, I used to get a regular program as well. So I think I probably started at about 14. So yeah, always been pretty interested in, keeping fit and I guess, keep me out of the house. And
Yeah. And what, they would go through goal setting or...
I think for me back then it was about keeping the weight off. Always very conscious about my weight when I was younger. Probably not so much now, but I do like to, don't like to be too heavy. And that's just me personally. That's just something that I don't like to, I like to stay between a certain...
And so now you get to attach that to something external, which is quite cool.
Yeah, well, I like to do, it's just something way more fun. Like, what I'm doing now is way more enjoyable than probably what I was doing, 10 years ago. Yeah. I used to do a bit of boxing and stuff like that as well, but we've got that at Empower as well. So
did you ever get into the ring?
No. Nah, I think I'd get absolutely owned.
Yeah. I've done it twice.
Oh, yeah? And how did that go?
The first time I was working at the Captain Cook in Dunedin, and it was for the David Tua Shane Cameron fight.
Oh, yeah.
So we had the garden bar all packed out, and then we put in a bouncy boxing ring. And so I was security. I wouldn't call myself a bouncer. But so the rest of the bouncers, they all sort of fought each other, and I ended up fighting against the cleaner, who was a lot smaller than me, but he did boxing.
Oh, yeah.
But I did end up beating him. I don't know how.
Was he like, eh?
Yeah, well, it was like we were mismatched, but he had experience. So and so I remember just seeing nothing.
Yeah.
I was so tunnel visioned. Yeah. And then playing for varsity in my last season, we did a fundraiser for the rugby club.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd actually did some training at city boxing, and I was actually able to hear the corner and see what I was doing and have a plan.
So did that go a bit better?
That went a bit better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So sort of my mate, he was more sort of flailing and haymakering, and so the guy in the corner was like, just jab him twice, back out, let him swing, and then jab him again. And that was a great tactic, and it worked for 3 rounds and done. And I was like, okay, I probably don't need to do that again.
Yeah. 1 and done. 2 and done.
2 and done. Yeah. The kind of photo with blood all over me. I'm like, oh, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, you see some of these women in these like fights, and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's rough, eh?
I have a real strange thing that I think Dan Hooker was there training at the time.
Yeah.
and like, you know, a bunch of kickboxers, and we're trying to figure out how to box, and these guys are kicking and punching, and it's just like, holy cow. And then, you know, now you see Dan Hooker on the UFC, and you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was that guy, because City Kickboxing, it was the same place then, so
yeah, I just can't watch that stuff, eh?
It's intense, eh?
It's too brutal.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a teenager when it was UFC, like the reality show. That was the sort of thing, hey, Mum would be like, turn that off.
Yeah. But definitely don't want my kids doing that, eh?
Well, who's the 5-year-old?
Archie, very young, yeah. A little hot kid. But yeah, he's pretty, he's a bit of a firecracker, eh? Yeah.
Strong heart.
He's fiery like his mum.
Yeah. So how do you manage success on the obstacles? Like, what do you do to move on to the next one if you've missed it?
If you've missed it,
mentally, how do you handle it? Like you said, the firecracker stuff.
Yeah, I think you just ignore the bans and stuff, but it's just like each obstacle you just tackle separately, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I always just look at them and like, okay, I think I've got this one in the bag, so, you know.
Then you do it.
Yeah. And you just, I actually, when I was climbing over these walls, I had my watch on and it was giving off that like emergency, like it was like you're having an emergency.
Ringing your family.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not having an emergency. I'm just climbing over a really fucking big wall. Like, you know, you're just trying to yank yourself over and you're like, hit it probably a bit hard. But, I mean, there weren't too many that I didn't feel like I could do, but it's just those sort of last couple of ones, and being like quite gassed after doing 14 kilometers, because your arm strength is pretty.
So the firecracker stuff hasn't shown up.
Nah, I think there's still more in there.
Yeah.
So I just got to keep working, I think, and putting in the work and. So is it?
Do you think it'll be something where you like give it your all and miss out, that sort of personality might come out? Like if you're really frustrated that you've given it everything? Yeah,
well, I mean, I was pretty disappointed in myself at the World. Like, that was pretty heartbreaking, eh? Definitely had to look, you know, and I think, you know, people are like, oh, don't be disappointed, you know, it's all part of the journey and stuff like that. But I guess you sort of think to yourself, oh, well, I came all this way and I thought I would kind of achieve, because you don't get a time, so you're DQS and you don't come home with a finisher band. So it's like, you know, it's just like you go to an event and you get like a finisher t-shirt, or you know, you don't get one of those. You get a medal, but you don't get like this, I don't know if you've seen them, those like rubber bands, you know, that, yeah. I mean, a few other guys did, and yeah. I mean, people probably don't really get that from, you know, unless you're sort of in that environment, you don't really get kind of what that feels like.
Yeah.
But I guess you just feel like you let people down, and, you know, that's quite hard to...
Yeah, like the woman went yesterday or today at Kona.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all that age group. Like I remember sort of 5 years ago, people going, oh, I've qualified for age group worlds. And you're like, oh, how does that work? And then you had to actually follow the journey of it. Now you're like, oh, I get that. That's unreal. And
yeah,
like even Hannah Berry, first time at Kona, getting 11th, you know, and she's like, you know, that's my first time. That's really great. And you're like, wow, that's like an elite field.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, and then you put it in perspective. It's like she's been around the New Zealand circuit for a while now.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's her first time at Kona, and it's like, oh, that's that next step, and
yeah, and imagine what she can do next time.
Yeah,
you know,
and even for her, she got
and
sort of injured, and you know, had some time away over in Noosa training, and I think doing way more swimming than what she normally did. And you know, you were talking about your running, you know,
yeah,
she gets off the bike and does her best ever run, and
amazing,
you know, and it's just like, oh wow, you know.
And some people are really good under pressure. So that's where that, you know, mental strength, you know, which I feel like, you know, I need to work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly like ignited a bit of fire under me, kind of, you know, to keep working and hopefully, you know, compete in other events.
I'd say.
And also encourage others to, because, you know, I mean, we're 40 this year.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I've got plenty of years, you know, left in the tank to kind of push. And I really want to encourage my kids to, you know, keep fit and, you know, get involved in the things that they want to be doing. But, you know, they've sort of shown a bit of interest. So,
yeah. It's hard to think about your kids in like the pushing them stuff. Like I did competitive swimming, and I don't know if it was the right thing or not, but then I'm a highly competitive person.
Yeah. So it has been, and that's what, you know, like with my parents encouraging me to do gymnastics at such an early age, like they created that sort of path for me, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I probably didn't really enjoy it at the time, but I feel like, you know, that sort of led me to where I am today.
To be able to switch on, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super motivated, you know, like I will always, you know, I'll always exercise like every day, you know, like most days I'm out there. Saturday is normally my rest day.
Yeah.
But like for me, I like to do sort of at least a bike ride.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing anything, like even on a Saturday, I'll do like a, you know, hour ride from my place.
Nice.
You know, out in the bush. It's just good.
Yeah. And did you just go to Creators and before it blew down?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, eh?
Yeah, no, it's going to be bigger and better than ever, they reckon.
Yeah, but when is that? Yeah, I think we basically might have just signed up. Like, you know, like maybe we went for one big ride or something, and then,
And then it was gone.
Yeah. So, looking forward to that day, though, eh? Do you do a bit of mountain biking as well?
No. Just been running.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, of course, being there on the weekend, everyone's like, what are you going to do next? I'm like, oh, don't know.
Maybe get a bike.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, maybe a road bike.
That's pretty fun.
And like, with that swimming background, and like
well, you've got good lung capacity, probably, yeah.
I think I could do a 70.3 at the moment. I'd probably.
So a road bike here.
Yeah,
road bike. I don't know about that, eh?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nicole, I couldn't do a road bike. Yeah.
My boss when I was in Hawke's Bay did the Ironman, and then another person did the Ironman, and Nicole was like, "You're going to do that one day." I said, "Yeah, we'll do that one day."
You reckon?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like one of those things that it's like there's all the things that you can do, but you've got to pick what you want to do.
Yeah, well, I guess that's probably the ultimate, eh? I mean, just amazing athletes.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a friend, she signed up to do it next year, so looking forward to supporting her.
She started training.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to think coast to coast, and then I was doing that.
Because that's a kayak as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to get a grade 3 rapid.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That would be definitely more up my alley than...
Or adventure racing, back to, you know, the obstacle course stuff.
Yeah.
Adventure racing, that looks pretty fun. When I was in the Oamaru hut in January, there was 3 teams came through. They were training for God's Own.
Oh, really?
Well, these guys from Auckland turned up at 3 a.m, eh? The guy that I was sharing the bunks with, wasn't too happy about it. But
were they training for that?
Yeah, so they had just sort of driven down from Auckland to the Poronui car park and come through Poronui in the dark, and then got into the hut at 3 a.m, and which is kind of, I guess, good training for God's Own because you don't really sleep.
But not really ideal for anyone else trying to sleep. Eh?
Yeah, he was not happy.
Yeah, I bet he wasn't.
Especially when he talked in his face, that really got him swearing. I saw the slight funny side to it, but at the same time I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, you're like, who are these clowns?
Yeah. And they were, you know, on the one hand you're training for God's Own and, you know, sleep deprived and, you know, you need to have quick naps and stuff, but they were in there grabbing mattresses and you're like, oh, that's not what God's Own is about, guys.
Yeah, you got to sleep on the ground.
Sleep on the ground, you know, just under
no
your jacket.
No comforts whatsoever.
Yeah, just on your backpack, under a jacket, have a quick 10-minute kip and carry on down the river.
We did that Oxfam 100k walk one year.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense, eh? Yeah, that was that was hard going.
How long did that take you?
I think it was like 32 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some good conversations happened there.
Some funny conversations, yeah. I did it with 3 other ladies, and there was a mum and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So it was crack up. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Who was dragging who? Mums did way better? Or did you all have your moments?
The mum's a real goer, actually. She did awesome. But yeah, just real funny because it was just like that real gross stuff. Like, you know, people obviously gone to the toilet in the middle of the night, right on the track.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And that is just like gross, eh? So it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, we were coming around to Bend
gross.
On Saturday and we just timed it right. The person was pulling out their pants. I think they were just having a wee, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then we nearly got busted having a wee.
Yeah, I actually had to do that at Waido. I had to do like a bush wee. And I was like, shit, better be quick. There's someone on my ass. So I had to move quick. But
the first wee I did, it was, we were sort of going around the track and I was in my head thinking like, how can I wee without stopping running? And I was like, so I'm definitely not going to be as intense as the pro triathletes that just piss themselves. It's like, no, I'm definitely going to go for a wee. And then I was like, that's right, I can just catch up to my mate. We were running pretty slow. Oh,
so did you just you're able to go to the toilet?
Yeah, so I ducked off the track and then he comes around like this. I was like, okay, g'day mate.
What, because they're triathletes, do they just weigh themselves?
Yeah.
That's just normal.
That's just normal, yeah. I saw a TikTok about the start line, they're on a pontoon and it's all wet. And they're like, no one's been in the water yet, what? Oh.
Does it smell?
Yeah, it must think. Yeah, all that's
what I'd be worried
all
about.
The age group athletes covered after the elite side. They're like, man, after that whole field goes through, you wouldn't want to be at the back, would you?
No. Well, I suppose at least it's not like a number 2, maybe. Or...
Yeah, that's right. And you're about to jump in the water anyway.
Yeah. So that's kind of fine, eh? As long as it's before the swim, maybe. The bike might be a bit rough.
Yeah.
Bit of chafing.
Nice. So, Laura, you're off to Nelson
this weekend,
Labour weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. What's that going to be? And
hopefully nice and sunny.
Yeah.
Going to hire some bikes when we get there. So ride from the airport to the com and then just cruise around in the bikes for the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm giving the 3K a go.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a 3K before, so I think that's at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And then the 10K, which is like later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are they putting that up anywhere to watch, or?
Do they do? I don't think they do live. I think it'll just be on Instagram.
Yeah. Who's running it?
Few, Ultimate Athlete.
Ultimate Athlete.
Yeah. So they'll definitely do some, posts and things, but I don't think there's a live feed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there normally is, but we've got the husbands in tow, so we'll...
I was about to say, you up in your content game?
Yeah. They've been given some sort of clear instructions now.
They need to go home. They need to go watch some YouTube videos on...
Yeah, well, they used to just video the grass. And that is not how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to go from here over to here. Don't stop halfway.
You have to get them on Canva and captions and effects.
I don't know if they're that...
what's it?
They're advanced.
CapCut or something like that, so they can...
Oh, God, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Just send it to my friend Louisa. She nails the Canva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puts the captions and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it'll be pretty fun. I mean, it'll be a real great vibe, like it normally is. Lots of, looks like there's lots of groups sort of going, which is always fun. And I mean, being at the beach is pretty, it's pretty beautiful down there. I imagine it'll be pretty sunny. Hopefully not too wet for that waterfall.
Biggest sunshine hours in the country is what Nelson always goes for.
Yep, I think I'd live there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if I wasn't
it's a bit
in
of God's
Taupō,
waiting
I'd
room
live
on
there.
Nelson.
Yeah, and they've got the Nelson Obstacle Sports Park there, which is awesome.
Oh, so it's your draw card.
I would like to live there, yeah.
And so where do people follow you?
We're on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm, what am I, Loha...
Yeah. I'll put it in the show notes.
2.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, just should be pretty fun. And then we've got Alpha next month.
Yeah.
So that's another one in
and
Wanaka.
That's Wanaka.
Yeah. So
nice.
That'll round out the year.
Beautiful.
Basically.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was a bit random. It was, like I said, Ricky's like, get this person on. And
yeah, I was like, I'm not sure I'm even that interesting.
I don't know how long we've filled here. Yeah, hour and a half.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that goes pretty quick.
Yeah. So my final question for you, Laura, I let you in on it. What keeps you in flow? Do you have a way you live your life, or?
my mantra and the mantra that we sort of live by at the gym has been sort of train hard, race easy.
Nice.
So I guess that sort of speaks for itself. It's not always racing easy, but the idea is always to train hard, and that's what we tend to do and enjoy it, basically, because if you're not enjoying it, then why are you doing it?
All the hard work's in the training room, not in the race. Enjoying it.
Exactly. As soon as I'm not enjoying it, I probably won't be doing it anymore.
No. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you for having me on.
No worries. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.